morning, buddy. Everyone, where we're going in a week? Can you tell them where we're going? Say we're going to Colombia, Santa Marta. Woo! Colombia! Woo! Guys, welcome back to my channel. So, as you heard from my son this morning, we're going to Colombia. We are specifically going to be in Santa Marta, and we're going for my brother's wedding. So some of you might think that I'm insane for taking two toddlers, well, one toddler and one infant with me to Colombia, to another country, but in fact, because all of my family is going, they don't have anyone to watch them anyways, and even if they did, I would still feel more comfortable having my children with me. Just because, one, I want them to experience being outside of the United States. I didn't have that opportunity until I was 18, and it taught me a world of difference. I mean, I just had no idea about anything outside of North Carolina. But anyways, so today I just kind of wanted to go over 10 travel tips for moms and dads that are traveling with little ones. So I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible for you guys. Alright, so I wrote some notes down so I can list everything off and remember it correctly. Alright, so travel tip number 1 is take advantage of the baggage allotted to you. So when you fly internationally, we usually fly to Costa Rica. And when we fly to Costa Rica, they do not include a check bag. You have to pay the $65 or whatever it is for a check bag, which sucks because you don't just pay it one way, you pay it two. So flying to South America, to Colombia, where we're going, they allow you one bag per ticket. So my husband is going as well. So for our nuclear family, we're going to have my check bag and my husband's check bag, along with 2 personal bags that you can take on the plane and 2 carry-on bags. And your car seat is not included in that, so you're allowed to take your car seat as well, and it won't count against you in any of those forms, a check bag, a carry-on, or a personal item. So you're good on that. So take advantage of that, because not having to pay for a check bag is so great. Okay, so travel tip number 2 is plan at least a 2-hour layover, especially for international flights. When you have little ones, you're going to have to do diaper changes, and you really don't want to do that in an airplane. It's moving, you know, it's uncomfortable, there's no space, no elbow room. It's just better to have time to do it when you're stopped somewhere. Some airports have family bathrooms, which are great, and some, you know, you just have to go into the women's bathroom and they'll have the child changer. And I always bring my own changing pad as well, just because I feel like it's more sanitary. Also, the reason that you want to have a longer layover is in case you need to eat anything, milk. You know, milk for my toddler is not powdered. Formula for my baby is, so I'll have that with me anyways. But his milk I'm going to need to buy at the airport and buy in small amounts so that it doesn't go bad. So I'll bring his sippy cup, but I will not have milk with me. So I'll want to make sure that I'm stopped and able to buy milk so that it will not go bad during the flight. I personally don't even drink milk if it's out more than like 5 minutes. I don't really drink milk, which is why for me it gets that bad flavor quickly. Another reason that you want to have that 2-hour layover, and maybe even longer for an international flight, is because, for example, we have 3 legs to this trip that we're going on. So our first leg is from Greensboro, North Carolina to Miami. So that plane, fine, okay, quick layover, good. From Miami to Bogota, once we get in Bogota, we're going to want time because we're going to have to go through customs. Now, sometimes customs can be really quick. If you're one of the first planes that lands around that time frame, you know, hustle and bustle to the customs line because you want to get through quickly. Sometimes it can take forever. The longest that I've waited in customs has been like 3 hours coming back to the United States through Miami, um, probably about 4 years ago. So I always, especially traveling with a family, I always want to make sure that I have that time. Okay, so for travel tip number 3 is to use one customs form per family, which they tell you on the plane. But for my family specifically, I'm married to someone who is from Nicaragua. So in Latin culture, it's very common, and well, it basically is to have a father's last name and a mother's last name, so the woman would not change her last name. So I still have my last name, and my husband has his last name. My kids have my husband's last name, not my last name. So for us, I always thought we had to fill out 2 different customs forms, but that's not the case. We can fill out one customs form. I can fill it out, for example, with all of my information on it and just put that 3 people are traveling with me, my 2 kids and my husband. So then when we go in the customs line, we just give them all of our passports and our custom form, and it seems like they know the deal because most of the time when we travel internationally, we go to Latin American countries. So they already know, like, okay, you don't have the same last name unless, well, they're already familiar with it, I'll say that. Okay, so travel tip, and also that saves you a lot of time to just fill out one form because sometimes it could take like 5-10 minutes to fill out a form, and if you have a toddler in your lap on the plane, it just is so frustrating. It takes, your pen doesn't work or something happens. Anyways, okay, so travel tip number 4 is separate but together when you're packing. So for me, it works so much better if, like, for example, in our checked bags, I pack in my big check bag, I have a littler bag that I'll put inside. For example, I'll pack for me and for my daughter Nancy Ruth in the same check bag, but I'll have all of her stuff in a smaller bag and sectioned off to the side, and then all of my stuff can be loosely packed in the rest of the bag. And then in my husband's check bag, I'll pack his clothes loosely, and then in a separate bag, I'll have all of my son's stuff ready for him. That way, there's less bags. You know, we can just use our 2 check bags for things that we're putting under the plane. And also, when we go to take things out of those bags at the resort, it makes it so much easier, or wherever you're going, not necessarily a resort, it makes it easier and more accessible to what it is that you're looking for. Because I cannot tell you how many times I've unpacked a bag and cannot find the one thing that I'm in there for. Okay, so that leads me to travel tip number 5 is the infant in lap for flying, the ticket price. So domestically, there is no fee for having an infant in lap, which means any child that's under the age of 2 years can ride with you in your lap. Internationally, it's a little bit different. So international flights, it's roughly $150 per child that you have in your lap, and honestly, worth it, because I would rather pay that $150 and have my child in my lap than buy a seat for my child, which is going to cost. Travel tip number 6 is pretty simple. Just make sure you bring everything that you need with you for your flight. A blanket, a jacket. Sometimes flights are cold, the air is circulated. You can only control your air thing above you. You can't control it above anyone else. So travel tip number 6. It's pretty self-explanatory. Also, if you have your kids with you, you're going to want your diapers and your formula there for emergencies. You never want to run out of that stuff. Sometimes they sell it in the airports, but if you don't have time to get it, then it doesn't matter. So make sure you have all the stuff that you need with you. That includes a phone charger in case of emergencies. You just got to think of things that you might need in case something terrible happens, like you miss your flight and then you're stuck overnight in an airport somewhere. So you just want to make sure that you have that stuff. Extra pair of clothes, extra socks, you know, for that reason, also a blanket. Okay, so also let's move on to travel tip number 8 is check your car seat when you get to the gate. If you have your infant with you, you want to have your car seat with you. Not the base. The base, unless, okay, take the base and leave it attached to the car seat. That way you don't have to carry 2 different things. So what I did the last time I traveled with my infant son, when he was an infant, now he's a toddler, is we took the car seat, we took it with us to our gate and around the airport, and then once we got to the plane, they let you board first if you have kids. So once we got to the plane, we were able to actually check the car seat right there at the gate. So you go down the little tunnel and then you hand it off to the guy and he puts it on your plane for you. And then when you get off, he takes it out and hands it back to you. So that is a great option, especially if you have long layovers. So we have, for example, a 5-hour layover in Bogota once we get there before our next flight to Santa Marta on this trip coming up. And it's great to be able to have our car seat with us because once we get through customs, if we have extra time, maybe she wants to nap and not be held, we can put her in the car seat and grab something to eat for us or something like that. Also, you're going to want your car seat not only for just having it for your child to be cradled in when you're, you know, traveling around the country that you're going to, but also unless you're getting an airport shuttle like we are, we actually won't even need the car seat for the airport shuttle because you're not required to have a car seat for that. But if you plan on taxiing around or renting a car, then you're going to want to have your car seat because it is illegal to not have your child in a car seat in Colombia and also in Costa Rica where we just were recently. But a lot of people do it anyways in a taxi. They just don't use it because it's quicker to just not use it. But it is illegal. Okay, so travel tip number 9. Okay, so I actually travel tip number 9 is to invest in something that will help you keep up with your toddler. I was really worried about this for our trip coming up because our toddler is everywhere, on everything, doing whatever. He roams like nobody's business. Like he's Lewis and Clark out there exploring the world, okay? And I cannot constrain him 100% of the time in my arms because he is not going to be a happy camper. He just isn't. So I was watching one of the YouTubers that I follow. I was watching Erin Williams, and she had bought her toddler a Mickey Mouse little leash. So they put on the little Mickey Mouse, and it's got a clip in the back, and then you can attach the leash to it. And it's 5 feet long. You can get it on Amazon for like $15. I ended up buying the same one because not only can my son use it, but once my daughter is of that age to where she's just crazy and wanting to run around everywhere, we can also pass it down to her. So it's kind of by gender. You can use it for whatever gender. It's gender neutral, I should say. So that will be a huge help because he will not be mad because he won't be able to run. And, you know, he'll get to walk, which will be great. He'll be in a good mood. We'll feel much safer. You never know. Airports are crowded. There's creepy people everywhere. And you just want to make sure you are able to keep track of your kids with the least amount of stress as possible. So that is tip number 9. And moving on to our last tip, and very useful tip, is shoes. When you're traveling, especially with kids, you want to have shoes on that are very easy to get on and off. I usually wear like slip-on flip-flops. I don't care if the plane is cold. I don't care if it's winter out. If I'm traveling to somewhere where it's hot, I'm gonna wear flip-flops because it's easier to just take them off and put them back on. That way I don't have to, you know, have the stress of, okay, well, let me take the shoe off and put my kid down and then put this shoe back on. And no. Unless you have tennis shoes on that are like kind of old and you can slip your foot in and slip it out quick, I would suggest just getting any kind of slip-on shoe that is just like 2 seconds to get on. Just to make things quicker. And security, you got people behind you, you're already taking up time because you have your kids with you, and on top of that, if you're late, you don't want to miss your flight, and security is going to hold you up anyways, so you just want to get through as quick as possible. Alright, so that is our 10 travel tips. I plan on vlogging while in. So that is everything for my travel tips to you as of now. I may revise this video after after traveling next week. We leave Thursday to go to Colombia, so I'll probably upload another video or two before we go. I did promise you guys I would do a birth story for my son Cristiano, so I plan on putting that up. But also, I just wanted to mention that I will be vlogging while I'm there, just taking snippets of video and then putting it together. I cannot promise you that I'll be able to get any footage of my brother's ceremony for his wedding. I'm a bridesmaid and my husband is a groomsman, and our kids are also going to be in the wedding, so I won't have anyone to film for me, and it's going to be a great day, and I just don't want to stress everyone out trying to get footage for YouTube. Anyways, so I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday Eve. Today is Thursday. By the time you see this, it might actually be Friday. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend. God bless. Blessings your way, and be sure to like and subscribe to my video and to my channel. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. All right, bye y'all.